Hey everyone, welcome back to NDC, and we're continuing our Learn to Code with Swift Playground series, hopping back into Learn to Code number 2 to learn a little bit more about initialization. Alrighty, initialization, creating the new. Also, I don't think we've seen that little red character before. Just like portals have the type called portals, and we had like the blue portal, green portal, pink portal, we also have a character which has a type called character. So we have the bite character, maybe we also have one for hopper, blue. The character that we control with the code is an instance of that type. So we can now control a new character type, the expert. The expert type has the same abilities as the character type, but also has a new method, turn lock up. So let's do a quick refresher on the type, which we have the character, and here are all of its methods. Then we have the expert. It has all the same methods here, but now it also includes the turn lock up. So to create an instance of our expert, we first declare the constant using the let, then initialize it with the type name followed by the brackets. So let expert is our declaration, equals, and then we initialize it with the expert with a capital E and the empty brackets. So we're going to use dot notation to then call upon the methods we want to use. So really important, we must initialize expert before we give the instructions like move forward. All right, maybe we'll get to, have two characters on the screen this time. I'm curious. Alrighty, so we are loading in and we don't have a character. Where is our friend? Well, if we remember from the instructions, we do need to initialize them first. So we have our let expert equals. So let's go ahead and create them with a capital E, expert, and then empty brackets. Let's see what happens if we just run the code. And there we go. We have our new friend who's apparently the expert. Kind of reminds me of the container that McDonald's fries come in. And that must be the lock in front of us that we need to turn up. Oh, and maybe this platform raises over here. Okay, so now that we have our expert on the screen, let's go ahead and figure out how we can solve this puzzle. As a reminder, when we're giving these commands, we'll need to reference the expert specifically. Instead of just generally move forward, it'll be expert dot move forward, etc., etc. We have some patterns. So we have 1, 2, 3 spaces, and then we need to do something every single time, whether that's a collect a gem or turn the lock here. So 1, 2, 3, we would be turning that lock. 1, 2, 3, collecting those gems. We could probably make a function to solve the sides because they're all pretty much the same. So let's do a function. We'll call it solve row. That probably would work. And within here, we'd want to have our expert move forward 3 times. Every single time there's 3 spaces. So we're going to do our expert with the lowercase e because we're referencing them, not creating them, dot move forward. Okay, and we're going to want to do this 3 times. We can either do a loop or we can just type it 3 times. Move forward. Wonderful. Then we'll want to check, okay, is our expert on the gem? If so, collect gem. If we're not on the gem, we can turn the lock. I think it was turn lock up. But how do we reference our expert, right? If we're looking for the condition of them, we've always just said if is on gem, do this. We can use the expert, in lowercase e, dot is on gem. So we can use this to access the property of the expert and say, okay, if this little red McDonald's guy, I don't know, call him McDonald's guy, is on the gem, what do we want to have happen? Well, again, expert.collect gem. I wonder if there's going to be a playground where we have multiple friends on the screen. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, and then we'll do an else. So in the case that we're not on the gem, that's where we're going to want to do the expert.turn lock up. Wonderful. So that should handle us solving those different rows. Something we also need to do is probably return to the center. and then we'll maybe like turn the character right. So we'll call this one function return. Oh, function return actually might give us an error because return in Swift might mean something else. We'll do return to middle. That should get rid of our error. There we go. Okay, perfect. So whenever we're finished, we'll want to turn around. We'll do our expert dot turn left, and we'll want to do that twice. Wonderful. Then we want to move back 3 spaces. So expert dot move forward. We're going to do this 3 times. I'm also just going to save a little bit of time. Copy and paste these down here. Wonderful. Then we need to determine, once we're back in the middle, do we want to turn left? Do we want to turn right? Because we want to face the other direction to collect the gem or turn the switch or whatever it might be. So assuming that we're coming back, so we can just have our expert dot, let's do turn right. Okay, so this is the fundamental of our algorithm. And again, every single time we're referencing a command for this little guy to do, we have the expert dot, then that command. Let's go ahead and repeat this 3 times, and then we'll have another solve row at the end. So we'll repeat this 3 times, which is going to be our solve row, return to middle, and then at the very end, we'll just do one more solve row. Alrighty, let's go ahead and step through our code. We should be good to go. We're pros at algorithms. It's also kind of funny when the playground reloads, our little friend here disappears because they have to get initialized. Okay, so we're going to solve the row. We're going to move forward 3 times. Checking run gem. Nope. Okay, our expert guy, he is turning the lock up, and that should raise the platform there. Okay, now we're going to do the return to middle, turn around, move forward, and then we're going to turn right. We're going to continue our algorithm. We'll make sure it works, and then we can always speed through. But the cool thing is we have a new friend, and we're using a lot of the tools that we've used before. It is cool to see, especially when we're referencing the expert specifically within the if and if else statements, it's looking at that very specific character, saying, okay, if this specific character has this condition met, do that, otherwise do this. So you can probably think of some crazy things that we might be able to do if we do get 2 characters in the future, right? If byte is on a switch, toggle it, right? Maybe, you know, we have to use the character interactions together. I don't know. The great coding skills, as we continue to grow, we can create an instance usually using that initialization. This allows us to bring expert with those additional abilities. Okay, let's go ahead and navigate to the next page here. Train your expert. Okay, let's go ahead and initialize our expert. We spell it right, add our brackets. For this challenge, we're going to practice initializing an instance of our expert as we write the solution to the puzzle. Remember what we've learned about factoring our code into clear, reusable functions. Okay, so we have a new ability. We can turn the lock up, and we can now turn the lock down. So if we look at these platforms, they're hovering a little bit high. So it looks like we'll need to be able to lower them in order to use those different platform spots. Okay, so we've established our expert. Go ahead and load them into the world. I assume we're going to spawn on this kind of arrow again, and we're going to be facing that gem to the left. Absolutely. Okay, welcome back, McDonald's guy. We're going to be doing a lot of turning around in this one, and I always kick myself in the pants for not creating a turnaround function. So let's create it. Turn around. Add our brace, and again, I'm typing with the keyboard. You can always use the autofills down here. So we know we need to reference our expert, and we're going to do our turn left twice. Again, every time we're referencing this expert, we're referencing that. So that's going to allow us to turn around. We can call that function whenever we want. And now let's look at completing the sides. It does look like we have a pretty simple pattern, just like with last time, except now it's 2. Okay, let's create a function and we'll call it solve row. Wonderful. And we are going to want to move our friend forward twice. 2 move forwards. And then we'll want to collect the gem. Oh, gotta remember, expert.collect gem. With this one, I don't think we're going to use the if-else statement, because on this case where we're on the gem, it would be satisfied with the if, and then we'd never get to turn the lock. So we might have to manually code it out. That might work a little bit better. Okay, now that we're solving the row, we could even change this to solve row with gem if we really wanted to, but we should be okay. Let's go ahead and solve the first couple rows, and we can create a for loop. So for I in 1 ... 2, definitely use the autofill and save some time. We're going to want to do our solve row. Then we're going to want to turn around. And again, when you're calling the functions, you don't need to do expert.function, because when we look at what's happening within the function, it's referencing the expert to do those actions. And then we'll want to do move forward times 2. Again, lowercase e expert dot move forward times 2. So this is going to solve the first 2 rows for us. So this should go forward. We're going to do our little turnaround. Oh, we're going to definitely have to turn right to get this one over here. So let's do a little expert.turn right. Let's go ahead and run this, as this should grab us the first 2 gems of the puzzle. I like how he danced then disappeared. Okay, so we're solving our row. We're going to do a turnaround, 2 move forwards, and then turn right. And we're going to repeat that another time. So that should have us facing this gem in front of the lock. Cool. So after that, we already have our solve row, so let's go ahead and call upon it. Now, we definitely don't want to turn around just yet, because we're going to want to turn the lock down to lower these platforms. So we'll do our expert.turn lock down, and then we can do our turnaround. Then our expert, we'll have them move forward twice, which should return us to our kind of starting position. Okay, let's run through this one really quickly just to make sure it works and verify that the platforms are going to be in a good spot. We wave to the guy again. Oh, now they're back. And they're zooming this time. Okay, we're turning it. Okay, awesome. So we know that it works so far. We'll then just need to have our expert turn right. Okay, then we want to move forward 1, 2, 3 times. So we can be on this kind of middle lock here. And the pattern looks pretty much the same as what we were doing on the other side. So let's go ahead and, let's do a for loop. Let's go ahead and do a for loop 3 times, expert.move forward. Perfect. And that's going to put them facing this gem all the way on the left. All they're going to be in this middle, I don't know what those are called, lock platform. Afterwards, we just need to complete the sides. So let's have our expert dot turn, do I do right or left? Let's do turn left. And then from there, we'll create a for loop again to grab those 3 gems. The number 3, we'll have them solve the row. What do we do up here? We had solve row, turn around, and then turn right. Go ahead and just copy and paste our code. Why not? We know it works. All right, let's go ahead and step through our code. Our world is going to reset, as well as our character. So we've created tons of functions. We've reused code. When we learned with the algorithms, we can create things when we recognize patterns and, create them again and reuse them and, solve these problems. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Okay, I'm going to speed it up a little bit because we have verified that this works. We'll do the step through when we get back to the other side. But again, we should know that it's A-okay. But you don't know until you try. Doing our turnaround. Back on down there. 2 move forwards. Oh no, we turned right. Oh, we weren't supposed to turn right. We were supposed to turn left. Ah, the copying and pasting. It was so close, but I didn't think it through. See, this is why you test it. Alright, we made the mistake. Let's go ahead and run it. Now that we're turning left, we should have no issues. Oh man. And again, live and learn. I had to make slight changes to those algorithms. It was such a good idea, but so close. We're gonna turn around, we're then gonna turn left. There we go. Woo! We have figured it out. Next page, and if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't too many for initialization. Oh, it takes 2. I think we'll finally be able to have multiple characters. Although this one has expert in character. All right, let's dive into this before we get ahead of ourselves. All right, using instances of different types. So we have our playground world once again, and we're going to have a type of expert, and we're also going to have a type of character. Let's go ahead and initialize them and see how that looks. Have our character with the empty brackets, and let's just run our code, see where they, on or end up, and what we need to do for each of them. Okay, so we have our expert all the way in the top here, kind of isolated on this island, and then we have Hopper, also isolated on this island, who needs the expert to turn the key up so we can, cross this water, take the teleporter, and then I assume bring this back down so we can grab the gem. Okay, so we need to be thinking about our code in a way that's moving both the expert and the character here. This is pretty intense, but I think if we take it one step at a time, and think, I'm thinking about Portal 2 co-op mode, we'll be able to figure this out and use both characters' position to our advantage. So let's first set up our expert to move forward, and we know we want to turn that lock up. Our first order of business is getting across this lake and going through that portal. So let's, now that they're going to be in front of this lock, have them turn it up. Oh, sorry, not turn lock down, turn lock up. There we go. Use the autofill so you don't make those mistakes like me. All right, now let's have our character kind of move through the world, go through the teleporter, and when we need to access our expert again, we can. So the first one we'll do is move forward. Let's see, we then want to collect the gem, move forward again, and make sure you're specifying who is doing what. Just thinking this one through, we'd probably turn right. So we'll assume that now that this has been pushed up, we can cross. So let's do 2 move forwards, and then we can check our playground. Okay, let's go ahead and run our code. So red friend expert should be going first, and they'll be turning the lock up for us. Now I do wonder if when we turn it up, if this one's also going to go up and we'll have to push it down twice. Oh yeah, they all raise by 1 block. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind for later. We might need to, turn the lock down twice. All right, we're going to go through the teleporter, and now we're hanging out. So let's now have our expert bring that platform down 2 notches. So expert.turn lock down, and expert.turn lock down. Oh, I keep pressing on the wrong one. 2 downs. There we go. Okay, and then our character's gonna move forward and then collect the gem. This one's actually not that bad as long as we can remember where the characters are, what their roles are, what they're doing. Okay, so we're starting again. We're gonna collect the gem after the platform's been lowered. Hopper's going to do their thing, collect the first gem and then the second one. But before they collect the second one, our good friend of the expert's going to turn the lock down twice. I like how they have little lock picking tools. Don't worry, I got this. Okay, now Hopper's all right, cool, my turn. Move forward, collect the gem. And just like that, we've initialized multiple instances, one for our expert, one for our character. We're having them work together to solve these puzzles. This is pretty cool. Now the last one up for initialization, It Takes Two, also the name of a fantastic co-op player game, which gives me an idea of what's going to be happening here. We're going to have a challenge. We need to initialize instances of our character and our expert and use them together to once again solve the puzzle. This time we'll need to mix the behaviors of both to have them work together. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? Ooh. Okay, so we're going to start by creating instances of our character and an instance of our expert, of course. We're then going to want to use our expert to turn one of the locks so we can reach the gem or switch, then pick the other lock so our character can complete the challenge. Oh, I see. Okay. So just like with our portals, we have color association. We have this pink or purple, you can never tell, lock that associates with the pink or purple kind of tile here that gets moved up and down. We also have one for green. Oh, okay. We handled last puzzle pretty well. I actually really enjoy these puzzles where we have multiple moving pieces. So let's go ahead and explore it. We're going to create our expert. We're going to create our character. Let's run our code, see where they spawn, and see what we need to have happen. All right, so our character is completely stuck right now. Hopper is like on the island, basically being like, friend, I need you to help me out. Okay, so the first thing I notice with this expert is they're also going to be walking into the water. Let's go ahead and have them turn left. We want to solve for this purple, platform, whatever you want to call it first. Let's have them turn left. Then we'll want to have them move forward 1, 2, 3 times. Expert dot move forward. But before, I'm trying to think here, before we commit to just typing this all out, we're gonna have to turn a lot of these corners, right? We have four corners in this project, and we might need to come back to the purple, I don't know. So let's go ahead and create a function that'll allow us to handling turning those corners. So let's create a function. Let's call it corner turn, I guess. And this will allow us to kind of streamline the process. So I'm going to have my expert move forward twice. We need to move 2 more from where we are right now. Move forward, and then I'll have them turn right. And then we can have them move forward 2 more times. Expert, move forward. We'll repeat that as well. Cool. Now we have this reusable corner turn function. All right, so you know what? Let's also move this function up here, so it's a little bit easier when we're planning our route. There we go. Okay, so we've turned left, we move forward. Let's now do our corner turn. And let's see where we're at. We probably should have to turn left and then turn the lock down. It's also pretty high. I wonder if we have to do 1 or 2 down presses. We can do some experimentation after that. Here's our corner turn. There we go. Okay, let's have our expert turn left. Now we're facing that lock, and let's have him turn the lock down. I'm theorizing we might actually have to do this one twice. Let's go ahead and run this really quickly as we're moving through this puzzle. That's my theory. Two down. He's moving it once. Yeah, we're definitely going to need another expert dot turn down. And again, because this one's associated with the purple, when we get to the green, we'll get to move it up without, each kind of lock affecting the other. Okay, so let's assume Hopper can now walk across. We'll have our character move forward. Do it again. And then we should be on the gem. So we'll have our character dot collect gem. Hopper will then be stuck on this little platform because we need to move the green one up, probably at least once. Okay, so now that Hopper can collect the gem, let's run it to verify. We can then use our logic for the expert. to get them all the way over to the green side and raise it. Look at these friends working together. Okay, let's now have our expert go to the green. Going to need to turn right. Turn right. We can use our corner turn afterwards as well. So that should put us over here. Then we would want to move forward twice and then do another corner turn. Let's see if my counting is good. It's kind of fun with these playgrounds to like just visualize what's all working together. And again, we can always just verify it by running it too. Have this like pretty good imagination. But we should be pretty close. If not right in front of them. We actually should be right in front of the green switch after this runs. And then we'll just need to turn our character. There's our other corner turn. Yeah, okay. Expert turn left. Okay, then we want to have our expert dot turn lock up. And then I think it's just about moving the character forward twice. And then toggling the switch, right? And character dot toggle switch. This one was not too bad at all. All right, I think that's the solution. Let's go ahead and run it one more time, do a little bit of lagging. There's lots to load. We can also step through our code while we observe these two friends working together with initialization. All right, so Red McDonald's expert has lowered the switch. Hopper's like, thank you, friend, collecting the gem. Like, give me 1 more minute before you take a bath. I'm gonna go ahead and traverse the outside here. The Discord comms between these two are going crazy. Good patience from Hopper. I can do commentary. All right, red guys now turn in the corner. They are approaching the green lock. Make sure that it is getting turned up. And now Hopper should have availability. Look at that, great teamwork, great communication. Hopper is already moving forward, toggling the switch, and that's a GG. So the more you practice these skills, the more that we actually even use the dot notation. As we typed out expert or character, we hit the dot, we saw the list of abilities and methods, like commands that they were able to do. That was actually really fun. These might be my favorite puzzles out of all of them because you have like multiple characters working together and you have to use all of those different things to solve the puzzle. So yeah, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to be taking a look at parameters within our code. Ooh, parameters are pretty fun in coding. They allow us to, be very specific, move forward. How many times do you want to move forward? How many tiles do you want to move forward? Instead of repeating it so many times, we can use parameters to give specifications to commands or to different parts of our code. So we'll be exploring that in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed Initialization. This was probably my favorite, like I said, my favorite puzzles to solve yet. So it's only getting better. Only getting better in Swift Playgrounds Learn to Code. So dream big, code bigger, and we'll see you in the next one of parameters.